My name is Micah Schmidt, and I built this Castle Parandor. So I've got the castle right here, and a gatehouse and upper tower. Over here is like a little like pig like farmhouse. Then I've got like a blacksmith shop over here. Those are some of like the main parts of the build, but I've got a lot of little like Easter eggs with the things that the minifigures are doing. Like right here I've got like a Cyclops like wooing some like village girl. Then like I've got like a shifty deal going on over down here.
Behind the shack there.
Yeah. And then right back here it's kind of hard to see, but I've got a like drunk guy who's appeared in like 5 of my builds now. Yeah, then down at the blacksmith shop I have this armor mannequin that's...
What pieces do you use to achieve that? That's a really cool technique there.
The mannequin itself is like this.
Okay.
Then I just take this off, slide that over, stick this back on. Then I've got pretty good, like even bars going in there. I've also got all these trees around here that I'll pick that up later. That have this bar like technique going on.
Oh, so almost like the droid kind of arm thing there to keep the leaves on?
Yeah, I've got droid arms clipped in and the sideways lightsaber handles in there.
Okay. And is that some old dinosaur tails there at the top there?
Yeah, that's the awning for the blacksmith shop.
Okay.
Yeah.
I really like that. And then kind of going back to the castle, which is just incredible. I love all the detail here. What's kind of your technique for getting all the little pieces in there to kind of add that texture to the castle?
So basically I just start at the bottom and just like throw on whatever stonework pieces I happen to be able to find, like the 1x1 rounds and the 1x2s with like the T-beam on them.
Okay.
And then just like go up trying to keep it like varied all the way up. And then occasionally I'll throw in like a vine or like a window to add some variety rather than just a gray wall all the way up.
Sure. And do you find that structure is pretty strong? I know you've got a lot of small pieces in there to add the texture. Does it still stay pretty strong?
Yeah, like I can like flick it and it stays together pretty well. Yeah, the part that is like the only thing on here that isn't sturdy at all is like the roofs.
Which I noticed is that nets under there. So how does that technique work?
So the way I do it is some of the parts here have just like a stud going through the net, then a plate locking them in on the other side. Most of them though are just like a pin with a stud on the end stuck in. Then I just slide it into the holes in the net.
Yeah, I really like that. And so that kind of gives it the really nice like ramshackle, almost rundown look, kind of just stuck on top of each other kind of effect with the net there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Keeps it varied a bit.
Then you've also got all this great landscaping, so it's kind of built up in the back there. What's the structure like in there that's kind of builds that up?
So to about like this point, it is mostly like solid brick going up. On the inside of the castle, it's a whole bunch of like pillars just holding everything together. Yeah, it's mostly just like if I put on a plate, I like build up underneath it to get to that point. So,
do you find that doing that texturing, like the rock work and sort of the hill, building up the hill here, is that difficult, or do you enjoy doing that? I know it's kind of using a lot of different slopes and everything, and making sure that looks kind of natural.
Well, the landscaping I think is one of my favorite parts of the building process. Just like making sure that like it doesn't have like a blocky texture to it, like it doesn't go up like too much at a time, and adding in like different colors to give it some variety. The rock work, I actually rebuilt the rock work 2 or 3 times because I started with like a boulder technique, but it wasn't sturdy enough to keep like bring it to the con. So it's just like a hybrid between like some sideways building and some like just regular.
Building up the slopes and everything.
Yeah.
Okay. How's this breakdown then, kind of moving it around when you bring it to a show like this?
So the castle itself is 4 different 48 by 48 base plates. But these 2 towers are separate sections that I have to take off whenever I transport it because they're locking the 2 sections together. The landscaping in the front, starting about like here, is 2 32 by 32 base plates and 1 16 by 32 base plate going across.
And everything stays together pretty nicely when you're moving it around. You usually have trouble with stuff falling apart that you kind of have to rebuild at a show?
Not a whole lot with this build. When I first got here, this section had come off a little bit, but it was just a matter of clicking it back down.
What tips would you have for people? So I just love the detailing in the castle and everything. So people looking to do kind of these medieval castle type builds, are there any tips that you found over the years that you've techniques and things like that work really well for this type of building?
I've found that with the landscape, using a lot of angled plates and not going up like more, like trying to avoid going up more than like 2 plates is really big with making the landscape like curve nicely, and then like trying to keep like varied lines so that it isn't just like straight across like going down. And then like a mix of like some angled plates in here is nice. Yeah, and just like not keeping everything at static angles just makes it for a more visually interesting build.
Sure, and I like what you've done also with kind of the almost rundown path here, using the 1x1 kind of smooth tiles there, and so that kind of gives like a little bit of a path that's left, but also kind of run down there.
Yeah, and one thing that I also did with that is I put vegetation everywhere except for on the path.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, so it's like people have walked over and everything. I really like that. And I just noticed, what's the technique there for the well? How'd you do that?
So the well is 6 minifig legs going in a circle around it with some cheese slopes locking it into place mostly, and just clear studs in the middle.
Huh. Yeah, well, that's really interesting. So I think the whole build came together just wonderfully. I really appreciate you taking us through it. I think you did a great job. Thank you.